I remember when life used to be so uncomplicated. I felt vibrant, almighty, invincible. I could be whatever I wanted to be, whenever. I remember when I could take things slowly at my own pace. As someone who takes the time to think through concepts, journal, eat slowly, slowness was always something I could fall back to. It allowed me to deeply reflect on my conversations with others, feel my feelings, recharge when needed, and appreciate the time spent with family members and friends, as well as nature. My favorite animal has always been turtles. Their ability to be so patient and accepting of their slowness and their longevity and its accompanying wisdom reflected all of my values. Did you know? Turtles live a long, healthy life because of their slow metabolism, largely because of their inactivity. They conserve energy and do not produce a lot of waste, which reduces the amount of damage to their tissues and cells as expected for their age and size. A majority of turtle species are now listed as endangered, largely due to anthropogenic climate change. The sheer fact that species that have existed for millions of years are now extinct points to a problem, that perhaps humans are not conserving energy and rather producing a lot of waste. Being the person that I am, I had to look into our human use of energy and waste. I first decided to look up what energy means. According to dictionary.com, there are 9 definitions of energy. And based on these definitions, it is clear that energy is marked by vigor, power, exertion, and an ability to act. Our human energy starts with food. Through the agricultural revolution, food started becoming a private commodity controlled to feed a capitalist system. Controlling basic human rights in such ways has resulted in poverty in this world. Poverty is a construction of the wealthy private landowners that has been exacerbated by our industrialized society. Poverty stems from the inaccessibility to food, and current economic development models have altered food production so that those who are allowed to produce food are producing food for the wealthy and not for themselves. In Western countries, many of us are so disconnected from food, so disconnected from the origins of our broken system. The growth of capitalism all over the world has resulted in a busy lifestyle. The subpar energy that we derive from our monoculture processed foods is converted to energy that powers the current capitalist system. It's hard to experience the slowness that I so fortunately experienced during my childhood. Everything now is about efficiency, productivity, growth, money, and more money. There is barely an opportunity to grow food for ourselves, let alone get enough sleep to re-energize our bodies and minds. Somehow our bodies are resilient enough to keep up with the cycle of eating food devoid of essential nutrients, going to work to expend this little bit of energy we have, and then doing it all over again. It is unsurprising that we do not have enough time and space in our minds to reconsider our daily repeated actions. And this cycle is being passed down from generation to generation because, in fact, the system is sucking out all mental energy and opportunity of criticizing this routine. And what has this system been doing with all the energy it compiled from us? Waste the energy. Businesses need waste to feed our capitalist society because it adds to our GDP. And how? Well, the system wastes nearly 1/3 of our food just from supermarkets alone. It wastes 60 to 65% of energy while creating energy to power our society through fossil fuels. It exploits the health of women, especially in developing countries, the health of those who are behind our food security. The energy spent on blaming one another and not executing promises made in global conflicts like the Kyoto Protocol. In fact, it is said that there is only a 5% chance of achieving the Paris Agreement. The energy is also used to accumulate trash in our waters, creating the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, threatening species like the turtles. This system also asserts that one model is correct, that the flushable toilets should be universal and standard, when in fact it may be the stupidest system that wastes tons of fresh water to flush down wastewater. It also wastes spaces, privatizing land in order to park a person's car that is 90% of the time remote. It's pushing out rightful residents of lands for the sake of machines that increase GDP. The list could go on, but it is clear that corporations are wasting our energy input into the system. In fact, we're wasting 9.5% of our total GDP on commuting. On top of this, the energy that is wasted does not get returned to us. This wasted energy is put up to the air where it gets trapped by the greenhouse gases and backfires at us. Hard. We're not renewing any of the energy we expend. There are more things that need to be done than the collective things that led up to today's issues. When I expend all of the dismal energy that I have to think about these things, I want to give up. Just sleep, like my host dog Miko does all the time. I always wonder, is it okay to just try to compromise with the system and just live on as best as I can? The little that I do, for example, is to take the bike when I can and enjoy the local, natural scenery around me. Not that I have much energy to do that. Much of the food that I eat is made by major corporations. I have little energy to spend after a long day of school that pushes for productivity, and I have deteriorating health due to all of the pollution around me. A million thoughts swirl my head as I try to tune out everything with loud music. But as I view the nature around me, the freedom that I feel from using my little bit of physical, personal energy, my energy, to transport around, see the many other bikers around me, see the grassroots work being done to fight the system, I feel this urge to seek a community to collectively fight the system. As I said so many times, we're expending way too much energy that are only wasted and backfiring at us. But with the little energy we have left for ourselves, if it could be redirected from mindless activities like Netflix and online consumption to one that is focused on community building, change can happen. A prosperous society, as defined by Jackson, is one in which people everywhere have a capability to flourish in certain basic ways. We have the right to our energies, starting from the energy we derive from foods to the way that it is transferred in our work. And we have the right to be re-energized and renewed in ways that do not backfire at us. Cities are often discussed as hubs with so much potential for such change and activism. Transition towns are often located in these urban areas. We often talk about how Copenhagen is a model city that shows the potential for such change. It truly is, to the point of a growing initiative to Copenhagenize many other cities of the world. I believe in this mission, but I also want to challenge this rather narrow viewpoint. Quote, cities for people is only half the equation. The people also need to be for their local areas. And to take it a step further, I want to challenge this quote-unquote sustainable development model as well. We should expand our horizons and remember that it's not just about the cities, and it's not just about the people. Our all-inclusive framework should be one of all areas for all organisms. A framework that also includes my turtle, the one that excels at conserving energy and reducing waste for a healthy, long, and assumingly healthy life.